Welcome readers to our DLR Storytime session of Myths and Legends. Our tale tonight, the story of Cuchulainn and how he got his name. Now, Cuchulainn is one of our most famous and iconic heroes, but he didn't originally start out with the name Cuchulainn. In fact, he was originally known as Setantha. Now, how did he receive the name? Well, that story starts in his early childhood at the age of 7. Now, he trained and was taught in a place called Owen Macha. This was known as the seat of the High Kings of Ireland and was thought to maybe be located somewhere in County Navan today. And the High Kings were the leaders of a troop of soldiers called the Red Branch Knights, who were seen as the place of the strongest, most bravest, most valiant warriors that Ireland had. Now, the leader of the soldiers was named King Conor, and he was the uncle of Setantha. And one day, he received an invitation to a party at the home of his close friend, Cuchulainn. Now, Cuchulainn was the one who made the armour and the weapons for the Red Branch Knights. So he was a close and personal friend of King Conor. And of course, King Conor was delighted to attend, who doesn't love a party, and wanted to invite his nephew, Setantha. So he went off to look for his nephew and found him in the middle of a massive hurley match with all the other boys, and told him about the party that Cuchulainn had invited them to. Now, Setantha didn't want to leave the match just yet because it was only halfway through. So he told his uncle, King Conor, that he would stay till the end of the match and then follow afterwards to the party at Cuchulainn's house. And of course, King Conor was happy to do this. So he went on his way, arrived at Cuchulainn's house, where a very, very fancy and very fun party started. In fact, it was such a good party that I'm afraid when Cuchulainn said that he was going to release his fierce and terrifying wolfhound, a horrible creature that defended his home, I'm afraid King Conor completely forgot about Setantha was coming along once the match had finished. Yeah, it's a very scary dog, isn't it? Yeah, look at those teeth, those crazy eyes. Now, when the match had ended, Setantha had been walking towards Cuchulainn's house. He had his hurley in one hand and his sliotar in the other. Sliotar is the ball played in hurley. It's a very hard ball. And he was hitting it up in the air and catching the ball when he suddenly heard a growl. And there before him was the wolfhound. It was poised, ready to strike, ready to go straight for his throat, fangs out and everything. And poor Setantha didn't have anything on him. He'd come from a hurley match, so all he had was his hurley and his sliotar. So the dog poised and it leapt towards him, right for the throat, ready to strike and tear it out. When suddenly, Setantha threw the ball in the air, hit it with the hurley, straight down the dog's mouth, and the poor thing choked and died. Now, inside Cuchulainn's house, everyone had heard the din going on, and poor Conor remembered about his poor nephew, Setantha. And when Cuchulainn heard this, he was very distressed because he thought that his dog had killed poor Setantha. But you can imagine their surprise when they opened the door. They saw Setantha standing over the dead body of the wolfhound. Now, Everyone, and Cuchulainn included, was delighted to see that Setantha was okay. But Cuchulainn himself was still very sad about that. The dog had been a very faithful companion, protecting his house and his properties. And of course, when Setantha saw this, he was very guilty. So he made a solemn oath to Cuchulainn and said that he would guard Cuchulainn's house and his properties in the dog's stead until he trained another wolfhound as good as the one that he killed. And to show how serious he was, he even said he would change his name to Cuchulainn, which means the Hound of Cuchulainn. And he is still seen as a great hero and revered by people even today. In fact, you will see if you go into the GPO in the centre of Dublin, a statue commemorating Cuchulainn, which was actually unveiled after the Easter 1916 rising by Eamon de Valera. And he said that Cuchulainn stood as a symbol of the dauntless courage and the abiding constancy of the Irish people. I hope you enjoyed that. Take care, have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you guys all soon.